Hey, Billy, you want to walk us in?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society Birdathon Awards event. I'm Bill Walker, and I'm going to start us off with a few tunes. The first one is by jazz pianist Stanley Turrentine. It's a bluesy number called Sugar. That's a tune called Sugar from Stanley Turrentine. And I am. There we go. I accidentally transposed one of my keyboards by half a step. That's a new one. Okay, moving on. I would like to let you do something from Miles Davis, one of our most enduring performers and composers, and I find that his compositions are just really strong, and you can take them in a lot of different directions, and they come out sounding fabulous. So here's a kind of a modern take on a modal tune of his called Impressions.
Participants.
I accidentally muted Bill. Sorry, Bill.
I want to chat.
What do you want?
That's a Miles Davis tune called Impressions. So, Barry, do we want to leave it there, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
Let's do one more. Do you have time?
One more. People are still coming in, so I think one
Right
more would
on.
be great. Also, I won't mute you this time. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. But
Glad
just
you
realized
picked up on it so quickly.
I didn't at all. I happened to see the host wants you to unmute dialogue, otherwise I wouldn't have noticed. It's all good. Okay.
All right.
Here's an original tune that I wrote, inspired by a beloved moment on Sesame Street where there's a counting song. And I don't know if you'll remember this sort of disco thing. Inspired by that, this one is called 1112. That's an original blues called 1112. And I think maybe we're now ready to get on with the rest of the program.
Yeah.
Let me just, if I can quickly put in a plug, if you like that, I do this every Friday at 5. It's called Friday Jazz Happy Hour. You can check it out at fridayjazzhappyhour.com.
Thank you so much, Bill. Bill Walker, board member and musician extraordinaire. Thank you. Thank you so much for helping us out again tonight. It was a big hit last year, and it is this year too. I want to welcome all. Thank you all for coming. This was yet another kind of COVID Birdathon year, and we took everything we learned from last year and we dumped it into the thinking for this year's event. And I don't want to spoil the surprise, but the result of the fundraising effort was enormously successful. So Carolyn and Barry will talk a little bit more about that later, but there are certain people that I would like to thank for, can you pull up the donor slides, Carolyn? There are a lot of people that deserve recognition, and we'll do this more than once, but there are a few people right here that I want to show you if we can get that slide going. Yeah, well, first of all, skip, yeah, there we go. Nope. Go to the donor slides if you don't mind. There we go. So we have tons of fundraisers this year. They'll all be recognized later in the program, but you can look for your names here. And we've got, go to the next slide. We have many, many generous donors. There are several pages of this. And I just want to give you a sense of how much people cared about this event and about our chapter and the work that we do together. So wonderful list of generous donors here, and the ones that I would like to call special attention to are on the final slide. Special thanks to Larry and Charlotte Langdon-Lezane, Peter and Diane Hart, Vivek and Lena Kanzadeh, Dennis and Marianne Ryan, Barry and Virginia Langdon-Lezane, Bob Hurt, Steve Pat and Deborah Jameson, Craig Hunter, Blanche and Irving Laurie, Lisa Myers and Los Gatos Birdwatcher, Julio Malero, Eve Meyer, Lonnie Polizotto, Christine Carlson, Chuck von Rosbach, J. Daniel McCrane, Tom Gray, Ginger Langdon-Lezane, Gail and Doug Cheese.
You get it twice.
Yeah. Mary Wisniewski and Bill Walker, the famous musician.
All right.
John Hurley, John Richardson, several anonymous donors, and Dennis and Wendy Farndon. So,
and you skipped Matthew Daughter. I believe Matthew should be called out as well as a special thanks.
Thank you. It felt weird to call my own name out, but there we go.
Sure.
So anyway, I want to thank you all for the huge and wonderful, generous support you offered for this event and on a continuing basis for this chapter and the work that we do. It shows great trust that you have in our efforts, and we could consider you all family. So thank you so much. Now, if you wouldn't mind going to the prize slide. Tonight we have kind of a special event, not only live music from Bill Walker, but we've got some trivia questions that we're going to be asking throughout the presentation. And these are some of the prizes that are available for anybody who would like to answer the quiz questions. So when the question comes up on the screen, if you know the answer or if you would like to answer the question, enter it into the chat. On the bottom portion of your screen, you'll see a chat button, and all the questions are multiple choice. You just enter the letter of the answer that you wish to provide. And then the first person to get the correct answer will win one of these prizes, a prize of your choosing. So let's open it up to the first quiz question. Well, let me just talk a tiny bit about these. Several of these books, the Stokes Guide, the Smithsonian Guide, both come with audio CDs. On the bottom row, 11, 12, and 13, those are CD sets with songs, bird songs. We've got a fabulous book, small book on warbler identification. We've got Jack Law's book on Sierra birds. We've got another book with an audio CD, The Art of Fishing by Pete Dunn. The Sibley Guide to Birding Basics, Kevin Zimmer, one of my favorite authors and favorite books, Birding in the American West. Hawks in Flight, Ken Kaufman's Advanced Birding 1 and 2. And we've got 2 classes that we're offering from the Cornell lab, the Bird Academy. So if we pull up the first quiz question, if you know the answer to which flycatcher is not on the official Santa Clara County bird list, you may enter your answer in the chat, and we'll look for that answer. Now we've got lots of answers coming in. That's fantastic. Bob Hertz, board member and treasurer, tell us what the correct answer is, if you don't mind. Unmute yourself for a second and tell us what the correct answer is. Bob is not unmuting here. So let me pull up the, what the.
I'll have to look at the cheat sheet.
Yeah, find the cheat sheet. Go back to the previous question if you wouldn't mind, Carolyn.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm back. I'm
All right.
unmuted.
Maybe.
Bob,
Sorry.
so occasionally we're
Yeah.
going to be calling on you to verify the correct answer. What is the correct answer?
Correct answer is D. All of them. None of those are on the list.
Right.
That's the correct
And so
answer.
the first
And
person was JP Bowles, it looks like.
so JP Bowles, you have the ability to choose one of the prizes from this sheet. If you want to let us know which one is your choice, we will set that aside for you.
How about Field Guide to Warblers?
Fantastic choice. One of my favorites. I think you'll like that one. We'll set that one
What's
aside.
the number on that?
Number 3.
Number 3.
So that's Bob, isn't it? Bob Bowles?
It's Bob. Yeah, right. I don't
Okay.
know. I have my son's, or maybe it's my wife's. I don't know. I'm an alias.
No problem. I've set it aside for you. So we're going to be having some other questions, and obviously prize number 3 has been claimed, but there are other great prizes there. There are more prizes than there are questions, so everybody will have a choice. Anyway, I'm going to hand it off in a moment to Barry to take us through the next session. But in the meantime, I wanted to raise a glass to everyone who's here tonight and to all the hard work, all the generosity that went into making this Birdathon one of the most successful in memory. So here's to you all, and Barry, take it away.
Thank you, Matthew. I have to take a sip first, though.
Oh, I like that glass with no stem. Cool.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's harder to drop.
I think it might be easier to drop, but that's just me.
Maybe. It's fine, though. Anyway, thank you all for coming. It's really great to have you all here. I just wanted to point out the board members that are here tonight. You heard Bill Walker's lovely music. Bill's our vice president. Bob Hurt is also online, and Bob is the treasurer. And I'm here. I'm the president. And I couldn't see when I last checked. Maybe some people have checked in since then. But we also have Joan Layton, who is our secretary, Gabrielle Feldman, Mike Armour, Diane Hart, who's the past president, John Richardson, and Vivek Kanzode are members of our lovely board. And our board has been very active and very...
Sue Pelmold.
And Sue, I'm sorry, she was on the top of the list. Sue, I missed you. Sue is our newest board member, but she's been here she's been on the board for just about a year at this point. Anyway, the board has been very active and involved in coming up with lots of great ideas for how to handle everything being different this past year, and I think we've done a pretty good job. One of the things that we did different this year is we had as part of the Birdathon, we created a Birdathon Benefactors Fund where we thought we would reach out to current and past board members and a few other donors to build up a fund that could be used as kind of a matching fund for donations that come in. And we had those matching funds kick in at various times during the Birdathon. And so you could see, if you ever watched the thermometer on our Birdathon page, you could watch it go up to like 5,000 and then kick up to 10,000 and then keep on going up. And that seemed to be a really great success. And we really appreciate everybody who contributed to that fund. So this year, last year at this time, the pandemic was brand new and we were panicking and trying to figure out what to do. And this event, the Birdathon Awards event, was the very first public Zoom event that we did. So at that time, everything was new to us and very confusing. This year, we're like Zoom experts. It's all second nature and all went really smoothly. I did want to point out that last year we said, we hope to see you all in person next year. And I'm a little sad that we weren't able to do that this year. But I also wanted to give Bob Hertz some credit for being very wise, because he said in this meeting last year, who knows, maybe we'll be on Zoom again next year too. And Bob, I think you were the only one who thought that at the time. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Next year though, next year in person. There are many things that we have learned from doing distributed Birdathons and having to be socially distanced that I think will carry on into future birdathons. The distributed birdathon especially seems to work out really well. It's really cool to have your teams spread out over the county, get as many birds as possible in as short a time as possible, and collect all the results together. And you can do variants of that where you have small sub-teams go out, 2 or 3 people, when we can be together again. So we're looking forward to doing that. We also got really creative. Last year, we had the Birdcassos do a sketchathon, and that continued on again this year. We got some really great artwork that you can see if you look at our Birdathon stories. Last year, Birdathon Stories was brand new, and we carried that tradition on again this year. And in fact, if you read through all of this year's Birdathon stories and you want more, you can just keep going on into last year's Birdathon stories. Just keep reading them all. And we had a really unique Birdathon event that Ginger did on April Fool's Day called the Foolish Flamingos. I always get it wrong. Okay, good. The Foolish Flamingos, where they went out and they looked for lawn ornaments and ceramic ducks and plastic flamingos in everybody's yard. And they did a great job. And there's a great Birdathon story about that too. And another new one this year, sort of a new category, is audio Birdathons. You know, we've been doing photography Birdathons for many years now, but this is the first year where we actually had multiple organized teams go out and try to record audio of as many birds as possible. And so that was really cool. That was a cool new thing. The other thing that was new this year, last year, when the pandemic was new, a lot of the parks were closed and like all the public restrooms were closed. So it made it really hard to go out and do a big day. This year, the public restrooms were all open. All right. And one of the other things I wanted to point out, which I'm sure that Carolyn will talk about as well, but the Birdathon, the funds raised for the Birdathon primarily go to support our education programs. And we have a brand new education program that we're working on called the Oak Savannah Community Science Project. And it's going to be held down in South County in the Coyote Valley. And it's going, among other things, it's going to be reaching out to high school students. So this will be our first time having organized field trips for high school students. We've been doing grade school students for 20 years, 30 years. Carolyn, how many years?
The
31.
Wetlands Discovery Program is a 32, 33 at this point.
Wow.
So
Right.
several decades.
So we're going to continue with Wetlands Discovery, but we're also adding this Oak Savannah program for high school kids. So we're very excited about that. And the funds that we've all raised together feed into that and make that all possible. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put up a quiz question. Just give me a second to find my slides. So I'll do the intro slide first. One more team that I wanted to talk about was what we called the Local Global Big Day Birders. And what that was is a variant of a big day that eBird, that the Cornell Lab of Ornithology puts on. They do this global big day where everybody in the world birds on the same day, and they aggregate all of that data and they put out a report. And this year, you can see from this slide, they had 51,000 people, which is the greatest number of birders they've ever had. They gathered more species than any prior year, and more checklists were submitted. So we did a kind of a local variant of that. We did what we called the Local Global Big Day Birders, where we wanted, or basically anybody that went out on May 8th and did a bird checklist, submitted a complete checklist into eBird, was part of the team. You were automatically part of the team. Even if you were anonymous, you were part of the team. So the question for you guys is, how many species did you get? How many species did you get? So this is another, type your answer in the chat, and then I will show you. I'll show you how to.
How many species were logged for the county?
How many species were logged in Santa Clara County on May 8th, which was the eBird Global Big Day?
So our entire team, the entire county. Got it.
Entire team total. So for example, I had just had my second COVID shot 24 hours before. I stumbled out of bed and I felt terrible. I felt really happy because the shot was having its effect, but I felt terrible and I couldn't do a big day that day. But I did manage to get 12 species. So I was part of the team.
I think I got
Anybody?
even fewer. I think I got even fewer than you because we went to Turlock to see Kelly's mother.
Oh no. Oh no, you were out of county.
Yeah, but I did log a few in the early morning, including one or two that might have been unique for the county. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you guys that a lot of you are familiar with eBird. eBird has many, many different ways of looking at data. It's a really amazing global database of birds. It's used by scientists for studying migration and bird population surveys and lots of different things. It's used by all of us to sort of keep track of our own checklists, our life lists, our trip lists. And it's also used as a form of competition where you try to see more birds than other people in your county or your state or in the world. And there's different kinds of reports you can pull out of eBird. And I'm going to show you how to get the report for how many birds did we see in this county on May 8th. So I'm just showing slides because I wanted to make sure this didn't get hung up on networking. But in eBird, if you just go to ebird.com and click on the Explore tab, you'll get to this page where you want to look for Explore Regions, type in the name of your county, pick your county, and then what's going to come up is the total number of species that have been observed in eBird for all time. We're just interested in one day, one special day. So up here at the top, you'll see all years. Now, I can't see the chat. Have people put in their guesses?
Yes, there are several guesses there.
Several guesses. Okay.
So we'll compare the answer in a moment.
Matthew, I didn't check with you in advance. Are we going to do Price is Right rules? Is it closest or closest that didn't go over?
Well, I think that. Well, I don't know about that. Let's say, yeah, let's say closest that didn't go over. Let's keep it Price is Right.
Price is Right rules. All right. Okay, so you click on all years. You can see all years, current year, current month, and then all of the big days. In 2015, I think is when eBird did their first global big day. We're interested in this year, so clicking on that, and I believe we're going to see the answer now, right there.
246.
246 checklists, 167 species.
Aha. Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the totals here, and it seems like 154 might be the closest without going over.
Ooh.
That's
Okay. I'm going to look at the chat too. I'm curious. 154, 203, 153. Yeah, sorry, I've forgotten the number already. What was the real number?
167.
167.
Answer was 167.
Yeah, I think it's 153.
153?
Oh,
154.
154. I'm sorry.
I think Marianne is.
154, so she got it by one down.
So 154.
Marianne Allen is the winner. You want to show
I
the
did
prizes
by
again?
one. Too
You want to
bad.
pull up the prize list so she can make a selection. I'm hoping that she's here. But if not,
She did type. She was typing moments ago,
oh, that's right, of course.
3 minutes ago.
So
That's the good thing
Marianne,
about doing a live quiz.
I'm here.
pull up the slides of the prizes.
There we go.
Oh, how about number 7? I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's
Birding in
great.
the American West. Thank you. I think you'll like that. All right, I'm setting it aside for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marianne.
So last year, we were so new to Zoom that we didn't know how to do quizzes yet. So we didn't do a live quiz. We had a link that we gave everybody at this meeting and then said, you've got a couple days to go type the answers. I much prefer to do a live quiz. I think this is more fun.
Exciting. It's more like Price is Right. So
Exactly. All right, let me double check that I didn't have other stuff to do. Oh, just for the curious, 167 was not the best day we've had as far as global big days. There was 2019, we had 168. So the challenge is for next year, beat 168 species. So we need everybody to go out birding on the eBird Big Day.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah. And then I was supposed to give the next quiz question, and I will do that. It's actually kind of related to all of this.
Ooh, nice.
How many birds are on the Santa Clara County checklist? And we gave little small ranges because there are multiple Santa Clara County checklists. Do you want to go by the last printed one or the last one that's up on our website, the county bird list that we give up on our website? There may be some others out there as well.
I would say probably the printed one, the one that is on our website is probably a good one to go by.
Well, I think we made sure that these ranges were inclusive so that even if you were using one or the other, you could still pick the right
Yeah.
A,
Y'all
B, C, or D.
argued this to death yesterday, and we decided on range.
Yeah, we did.
The range, no, yeah, of course, the range is great.
Looks like we have answers for every letter. That's good.
So the first one who gets the correct answer, yeah, I think we have a winner.
The correct answer is ... Matthew?
Well, the correct answer would be B.
B.
And it looks like the first answer was Christopher Klein. He was a
All
member
right.
he was a member
Wait.
more than one of my
Massimo. Wait. I'm not sure where these answers start. I think Massimo actually got it. Yeah, Massimo Baffetti.
He said, oh, okay.
Sorry.
Massimo's great.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, that was bad. It sounds like that's a bad thing to do, to get the winner wrong. I'll try not to do that again.
Well, there's a lot of answers here in the chat. I think that's excusable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, so
Or actually, Carolyn's sharing.
Massimo will have to select a prize, and then we'll set it aside for him.
Okay, let me think. Wait, so 3 and 7 are already taken, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
We didn't have the technology to put X's through them.
I could recommend all these books. I think the knowing you and your interest in birds, I might steer you toward 9 or 10. But that's just a suggestion. Of course, all of them are available. I mean, except for 3 and 7.
Both of those advanced birding books are great.
I think I'll do number 9.
All right. Massimo, number 9.
I have 9 and 10, so I'm glad I wasn't eligible.
And Massimo, you are quite an artist. I saw your illustration in the ABBA set for the California Tories. Yeah, that was marvelous. And it's actually in the printed ABBA set, which I have in my hand right here.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So
that's really cool.
You'll see your magnificent drawing on, let me see what page, page 12, right there.
Oh, cool.
Thank you so much for everything you've done. It's so nice to meet you finally, sort of in person.
Thanks.
Heard so much about you. So thanks for coming and congratulations.
Thanks.
Matthew, you can't tease that thing like that and not show it to us.
Oh, show the drawing. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Let me pull it here. It is right here. I don't know if you can see this.
You can see it's not
That's
quite in
cute.
focus, but that's cute.
But you have to keep talking, otherwise we pull it off.
Oh yeah, so this is Massimo's drawing. Let me pull it back a little bit. For the California Towies, the team that he was on, which was a really large team, by the way. I look forward to seeing more artwork from you, my friend.
Thanks.
I like the hand lettering also.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so let's move on to the next segment.
All right. Thank you. So that's me. I am really excited to talk about Birdathon. We had a fantastic year, as Barry mentioned. I suppose it does fall within my purview to mention our end fundraising. which ended up being around 62,000, which
Wow.
Woo!
Fantastic.
Massive applause.
you guys
Yeah.
did amazing. We're completely blown away. And so many of you guys put in so much work that we're just super grateful for it. So I'm going to be starting off with talking about our top teams. I'm just going to mention the top 5 fundraising teams, and then we're going to go into our individual prize winners. So for number 5, in terms of our fundraising, we did get the wrong turns. That's a 4-hour distributed Birdathon team. Just past them was the St. Anthony Ranchers. This is one of our most established birding teams. Typically they're at Rancho San Antonio, but they spread out and did another distributed team again this year. 3rd place was the California Towies, which, as mentioned, was an absolutely massive team. This was actually, I think they ended up with 29 participants, which was absolutely crazy. And when I was putting the Birdathon story up for that team, it literally just kept going, which was pretty great.
And I think that's the biggest team we've ever had. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was massive.
Biggest organized team. The local
biggest
global Big
organized.
Day Birders was over 100 people, but wasn't organized the same way. So
Yeah, then the big day, nobody had to check in. 2nd place was Board Not Bored. So good job to our board members and the others who participated in that team. And then 1st place is again the Rock Wrens. So good job. Although I have to say the California Toys were doing a really good job, but they got edged out at the very end. So great job, Rock Wrens. Thank you so much for your efforts. Now I get to do more screen sharing. So we had some really cool sponsors this year. The Los Gatos Birdwatcher, Alvaro's Adventure, the Cornell Lab. We had Zeiss, Beauregard Vineyards, and Birds and Beans sponsor us to put together some really fantastic prizes. So with that, we get to go through our individual top fundraisers. Now I'm only mentioning the top 20. Some of the folks I mentioned passed on prizes or were ineligible, but everybody did a really fantastic job. So Eric Goodall, thank you very much for your fundraising efforts. Roberta C. Baker, Joe Mary and Robert Bowles, Marianne Allen, who actually won one of our prizes. So she won a scholarship to SCVAS Learn. If you're not familiar with that, that's our online birding education courses. Upcoming classes are going to include things like shorebird migrations and fall warblers. Previously, we've covered gulls and our flycatchers. So that's a really great way to meet some fellow birders at SCVAS as well as practice your birding skills with folks. I also want to thank Elsie Boros. She won the gift basket from the Los Gatos Birdwatchers. Los Gatos Birdwatcher is a really great partner for us. Lisa Myers does some really wonderful bird walks that I highly recommend joining in on if you never have before. I want to thank Eve Meyer. She passed on the quiz, or not on the quiz, but she passed on the prize so that some other folks could get prizes this year. I also want to thank Michael Rogers, who won a $100 scholarship to Cornell's Bird Academy, where there's a ton of online birding classes that you can take to practice your skills on birds that are common in your yard or that are rarities. And I also want to thank Matthew Dotter. He's ineligible for prizes for reasons that are fairly obvious, but we appreciate his efforts regardless. Now, I'm gonna split this off because I don't want to just list off names to you guys tonight, as fun as that is. So I'm going to give you guys one more prize, chance to win a prize with another quiz question. So, which pictures won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Actress? In case you were missing the theme, we like birds. So,
Ooh, a hint.
it's the one that has a bird in the title.
Okay,
This is tough.
that narrows it down.
I can narrow it down to 2, but that's as far as I can go. I will say that one of my favorite movies is on that list, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
One of my very favorite movies. A lot of people's favorite. So,
All right. So do we have a correct answer in the chat, Matthew and Barry?
well, Bob, let's hear what the correct answer is, if you don't mind.
The correct answer, although they were all fine movies, the only one that won all 4 was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975, D.
Yes.
Wow.
Carol Ann Graves is our winner for that.
Woohoo!
Good job, Carol Ann.
Yippee.
So you may pick a prize.
Could I have number 13, please?
Yeah.
Number 13 is, Burning by Ear. Excellent choice. Now,
I really need that.
yeah. Well,
Thank you.
so you're so welcome. You're going to want to rip it and put it into your phone or your iPad so you can listen to it anytime. Or if you still have a CD player, you could listen to it there. But it is an excellent thing. And the accompanying notes that come with the disc are fantastic. So I think you'll really love it. Good choice. Good choice. So we're gonna pause the prize announcements for a moment or two, because that's what they always do in the Academy Awards. There's usually some entertainment about now. I will try to step in for that and simply tell you that once again, the new Avocet is out. It is available online. You may have received it in the mailbox, or you would have gotten an email about it with a direct link to it. So there's a story on the front about how our birding has changed in this past pandemic year. There are more of the bird stories here, and there's just tons of really wonderful stuff in here. So I'm hoping that you'll enjoy that. And I wanted to make sure we didn't finish the evening without mentioning all of the volunteers that have helped on every level in our activities, from the volunteers that help with our education program, to the board volunteers, to the field trip leaders and the volunteers there, all the committee chairs that step in and do so much work and make our job possible, really. So thank you to all of them. But mostly what I wanted to say is that actually, I'm going to get to that a little bit. I'm going to get to that part. That's the last part I'm going to talk about. So I wanted to make a quick comment about the distributed team format. Now, I may be in the minority, but I actually really liked the distributed team format. Maybe it's just that I've gotten used to it now after 2 Birdathons and 12 or 14 teams in that format. But I think it's really worth continuing as an option in the future. So love to hear from each of you what you think about the distributed format, whether you like it, whether you think it's worth continuing. I sort of feel it might be. And it does open up sort of a whole new strategy of maximizing your count. And the idea of deploying people around the county, it really does feel like a cohesive effort, even if you are separated. So just want to put that in plug in because I really liked it a lot. Now, I'm going to hand it back to Carolyn now, as we should have sort of an imaginary drum roll at this point, because she's going to announce the best actor and the best film, I think, in the next segment. So take it away, Carolyn.
Actually, we're going to do another quiz question before we get into that.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
All right.
Which president signed the Endangered Species Act?
Here come the answers. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now I should point this out. I don't know, we didn't say this before, but if you have won a prize already, we're going to bypass your name and give it to the next person who has not yet won a prize.
I think we're okay this time. Somebody knew one.
Good. So, Bob, do you want to give us the correct answer?
Bob.
Yeah, correct answer, 1971, Richard Nixon.
I remember when that happened too.
Letter C. Yeah.
Number C. So that's
Letter
Carolyn.
C. Julie. No, Julie.
Oh, Julie.
Julie is the winner right up at the top.
I'm technically second after Carol Ann, but
Oh, are you? Wait.
Disqualified by
Oh,
virtue of
wait.
already winning.
I'm sorry. Maybe you're right. Did Carol Ann win?
She did, but she just won the previous prize.
Yes, of
right here.
course. Of course.
So, Julie, what's your choice?
it's exciting. Let's see.
They're all good. I highly recommend all of them.
I know. That's why it's hard to choose. Okay, let's see. What's the difference? Okay, I'm gonna drill in. What's the difference between the Field Guide to Bird Songs and the Western Bird Songs?
They are different publishers. So the Stokes list, the Stokes set, we actually have got two of those. It is a 3-disc set, and it has a wonderful book in it, and so does the Western Birdsong, which is a slightly older Peterson guide, which has 2 discs. So just based on the number of discs, I might recommend the Stokes because I think perhaps the song samples are a little bit longer, or there might be more of them. But anyway, I have used both of these. I have them on my my phone. I listen to them all the time. So they're both going to be good.
Well, great. I see both you and her are recommending Stokes. So let's do Stokes.
All right, will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for everything. Really, I mean it.
Yeah, right.
She's stoked, says Steve.
Thank you, Steve. I am. That was a good one.
Julie, in
Very good.
fact, is one of our most influential volunteers. She helps on so many levels, and she does writing for the website, and it's just remarkable work that you've done on backyard birding and all around town. So thank you for everything. And thank you for your efforts this year with the Birdathon.
Oh, thank you. It's a joy. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, I think I was supposed to ask that question. So Carolyn, you're going to go ahead and ask another question. Lost my track. I was just so stoked.
We're just really excited about this, guys. In case that wasn't totally clear, we're just very excited about everything that is happening. All right. So with that, we're going to go to our next quiz question, which I'm very quickly going to pull up for you guys. On the Endangered Species Act, which bird was first listed?
People are getting really fast with typing their answers.
I think they're sitting there with a finger over the keyboard.
Just like one finger over each letter, and then you just have to twitch the right finger when it comes up.
Who was the first? Do you see anybody who answered we know what the answer is.
So all of the answers are after Steve Pat saying, "Does this mean you get paid this year?"
Okay. So Bob, why don't you tell us what the answer
No,
is?
Steve Pat. Steve Pat said C right after he said, "Does this mean you get paid this year?"
Yes, I see that.
Yeah.
So
So Bob has to tell us what the right answer is.
Bob, take us away. What's the
Okay.
correct-
Am I unmuted? That's C, whooping crane.
Whooping crane. And
Woo!
that
It is
does
Steve.
indeed go to Steve Pat. Just gonna pull up the prize list for a moment again, if you wouldn't mind.
Congrats, Steve.
And let's see. Steve, I'm sure we can't hear you if you're talking, but go ahead and make a choice.
You could just type it in, haha.
I want number 2, he says. Number 2, the Smithsonian guide.
All your field guides have like brown towhee,
This is
common bush tit,
Yeah.
rufous-sided towhee.
This is a great book, Steve, and it
Pigeon hawk.
another disc in it with 587 bird songs on it. So nicely done. It's got your name on it.
Nice.
We'll set it
Nice.
aside for you. All these prizes will be at the ranch, and you'll be able to arrange a time to pick it up and at the ranch. All right. So you want to take it away, Carolyn?
So we're going to go back into our prize list. I want to thank Lena Canzote for all of her fundraising efforts, as well as the fantastic artwork that she contributed to Bird Picasso's. It was really a pleasure to see everything that she did for that. And I'd like to also thank Mike Mimoser, who won a bottle of wine from Beauregard Vineyards. And Beauregard is also the sponsor of the team prize, which the Rock Wrens swept away with. Another member of the Rock Wrens, actually, Craig Hunter, won a gift card from Birds and Beans. And if you're not familiar with this company, they are a bird-friendly, fair trade, organic coffee company. They have their product in stores, but you can also order online. So if you need your caffeine fix, that's a really cool way to get it. I also want to thank Chuck von Rosbach. He passed on a prize, but I also just really want to thank him for all of the work that he's done with Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society. He's been an amazing help with our social media and our website. He's a great photographer, and unfortunately, he's moving out of the area. So we're gonna miss you a ton, Chuck.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not gonna be the same without you.
Well, he promises to stay in touch, so that's good.
Guys, yep, we'll probably see him online.
Yeah, I hope so.
I also want to congratulate Renee Palazzotto on top of being a really great fundraiser and supporter of Birdathon, as well as an SCVAS volunteer. She won Wingspan, and if you're not familiar with this board game, it's really, really cool. You get to basically design your own nature preserve in order to attract the most birds possible. So it's kind of the bird lover's dream.
And you don't even need to be a bird lover for it to be a great game. It's actually a very popular game among non-birders as well.
Yeah, it's also online now too. So
Oh, no way.
Or not
Excellent.
online, but it is available on Steam. So that's a fun thing if you're a little bit more technologically inclined. I want to thank Bob Hurt. He is ineligible for prizes, but he is an absolute fundraising powerhouse. Bob has done amazing work supporting SCVAS, supporting Birdathon. He leads Board Not Board and the Rock Wrens. At this point, we're going to have to just put up a special plaque just for Bob. For
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I also want to thank Barry and Ginger Langdon Lassane. Not eligible for prizes, but they did do amazing work fundraising and supporting our organization and supporting us as volunteers. They're incredibly active in field trips and the website, and it's great to be able to work with them. I also want to thank Peter and Diane Hart, both also ineligible and incredibly active in our chapter in terms of the education committee and the board of directors. It's not quite Audubon without them. I also want to thank Carolyn Straub. So Carolyn did some amazing fundraising this year, and she won a scholarship for a birding workshop with Alvaro's Adventures. So Alvaro does some really cool workshops. I believe he's doing pelagic birds soon, but he does some really fantastic workshops that are available online, as well as a lot of the tours that you guys may be more familiar with. And he's a really great partner for SCVAS. I also want to thank Steve Pat and Deborah Jameson. They won a bottle of wine from Beauregard Vineyards, and I think they're also going to be taking part in the Rock Runs Team Prize. Steve and Deborah are cornerstones to Birdathon, and take part in multiple teams. They're involved in the Birdathon committee, or at least Steve is, and his input is always incredibly valued. These guys do a ton for Birdathon, whether it's running the Cupertino Creek Cruisers, which I think is on its 14th year, or the Fartlek Falcons, which just makes everyone really tired by comparison. It's incredible to see what they do and how active they are with all of this. And last but not least, I want to congratulate Jim Liskovic. His fundraising is being given by proxy to one of his team members on the St. Anthony Ranchers, Joan Loney, and they won a pair of binoculars from Zeiss. So we're really grateful to have Zeiss's sponsorship. It's amazing to get an optics company that we like using as much as we do to help support our organization. So that's incredible. The team prize, as I mentioned, is sponsored by Beauregard Vineyards. So the Rock Runs are going on a wine tasting to enjoy the scenery, probably do some birding while they're out there, as well as enjoying the wine itself. So with that, I believe I have...
Steve wanted to say something, but
yeah, Steve, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, just about a week ago, I had the opportunity, actually, I took along Diane and Peter Hart as my guests to enjoy last year's prize, which was a trip to Loma Prieta with Ryan Phillips, which was wonderful.
Excellent.
I don't know why we didn't hit him up this year.
Well, he doesn't live in the area anymore.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Put him on the list.
It
We'll
was
bring him
wonderful.
in.
But my point of saying that, besides for just saying it, is it's really important for winners to acknowledge, the generosity of the donors, and for everyone to acknowledge the generosity of the donors, because they did a good thing, and we should thank them.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Thanks, Steve.
Great. And I also see David McIntyre's raising his hand.
Hey, I joined a little late, but I didn't know if the special guests who joined, but I think they just dropped off because of the hour, were recognized. Lita Beth Gray and David Drake were on the call just until a couple of minutes ago, calling in from Maine, where they live. They are the original founders of the Rock Runs, and so I been doing the Rock Runs with them and then Bob for like 20-ish years. And so they were on, and just, I think, until a couple of seconds ago, it was pretty late there, 11 o'clock now.
Well, Jim, we're recording this session, so we'll be able to they'll be able to see it at their leisure, when it's earlier in the day. But thanks for reminding us about that. I haven't seen them in forever, so it's so nice that they stopped in.
He's the ED.
Yeah, they contributed our furthest reaching bird checklist for the team all the way out in Maine. So we got some interesting East Coast birds that not eligible for the best bird award though, out of county by several thousand miles.
Even after Leda Beth moved to Maine, we've stayed connected over the years about the protection of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
Yeah, she's very active. Yeah.
And hadn't seen them since they left.
Yeah, they've been away for a while, but they're still connected, which is which is wonderful.
Sure.
So, Carolyn, do you have another quiz question?
Nope, we gave it at the start.
Okay. Do I have a quiz question?
You do.
All right. So let's pull let's pull that one up.
You do full screen, never?
Yeah.
Okay. Which species are brood parasites? This is pretty straightforward question.
And answers coming in fast.
Yeah, they're just whipping in, aren't they? I think I see a correct answer. It looks like there is almost universal agreement on. Ooh, this is an interesting one. So, Bob, tell us what the answer is that you would like.
Brood parasites are cowbirds.
Mm-hmm. And Massimo said all. Do you know for a fact that the other birds do not occasionally parasitize other nests?
I was just guessing because I thought it might have been a trick question.
Oh,
I
there you
never
go.
heard of them doing it. I thought it might be
Yes.
because I thought it was like such an easy question that it might have actually been a trick.
Way to know your audience, Massimo.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. I mean, I think everybody knows that cowbirds are parasites, but you're right. Crossed my mind that maybe there was a bit of a trick there. There was a trick in some of the photos that Bob set aside for us, but we ended up going with the multiple choice text questions instead. But it's a good impulse to look for a trick question. It's not something that
Bob doing a trick question? I don't know.
Especially with this crowd.
Great trick. I had a great trick question in the photos. I think I even tricked Matthew on the photo quiz.
Yeah, you said juvenile sharpshin, juvenile coopers, juvenile something or other, none of the above. And you showed an adult exhibitor in the picture.
That was good.
Yeah. So anyway, now we're on Bob for a second. One of the last things that we want to do tonight is
Right, well, we have to recognize the winner here.
Oh yeah,
for this quiz question. The winner is, I believe, Steve McHenry.
Steve.
And Steve, you get to pick one of these lovely prizes.
We want number 2, the Smithsonian Field Guide.
Oh, I think
Smithsonian just been claimed.
Just been taken. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
No, don't. Let me think.
I'll point out that Stokes is still available, and it has a CD as well.
It's a
with
very good
600
guide,
songs.
yes.
Hawks and Flight, I don't know.
What Hawks or the Kaufman? No.
Kaufman.
No, actually, Kaufman's been picked also. Okay, let's go number 8, Hawks in Flight.
Hawks in Flight, excellent choice.
All right, excellent. That's a good one.
Okay, so
They're all
as
good ones,
before, these will be set aside at the ranch with your name on it, and you can arrange to pick them up whenever it's convenient for you. All right, so one of the last things I wanted to do tonight is acknowledge Bob Hertz, board member and treasurer for years with Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society. He is involved with a number of Audubons over the years, including Golden Gate. He's got deep relationships with former co-workers and industry people around the valley and all over the country. He's got incredible knowledge of the birding community. He's led pelagic trips for years, not recently, however. And he's just a wonderful person to have as part of our team. And the reason I recognize him tonight is because of his unparalleled fundraising efforts over the years, year after year after year after year. Bob has motivated his team members and donors to contribute extremely generously to Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society, and we thank him for all of his work there. And my question for you, Bob, is I wonder if you could spend a minute and tell us how the team first came into being. I think we've gotten an answer from Dave, how it's evolved, and any major landmarks in the history, the long history of the rock wrens that you'd like to opine on.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words, Matthew. I really appreciate it. The rock wrens, as David had mentioned, were formed by a bunch of U.S. Geological Survey people that were birders, Lita Beth Gray and David Drake. David was a past president and Lita Beth was a secretary. So they were both board members and birders. And, they did a great job. They had Sue Hunt and a few others. David's a longtime member of the rock wrens. We've been, actually, we were trying to get out there and get the most number of species, because one of our things was to get pledges per bird, seen. And it was kind of a little bit of a sucker punch, because we always come in with 140, 150 species. We thought we were competing for the best, for the most species, but we had Mike Rogers, and we never made it. We never, ever got over that hurdle. In desperation, one year, we decided to merge the rock wrens with the very twitchers, Mike's team. We followed them around in the second car, and by the end of the day, we were exhausted. We had a lot of species, but and I think that year the very twitchers got the top prize, because our fundraising and their birding. But Mike was leaving us in the dust constantly, saying, "Oh, come on up the hill, come on up the hill." It's like grasshoppers just 100 yards up the hill. And we were just exhausted. It took us 2 days to recover. We just never, ever wanted to be a very twitcher again. And so we've focused on fundraiser. And like you said, we rely on our contacts. I think it's important to keep friendships and relationships alive all during the year, because when it comes time to fundraising, nobody likes to hear from you once a year saying, we'd like some money again. And keep your contacts going. Take them birding. Be there for them, and don't be an annual Christmas letter with just brags about your family. Just try to keep everything real and try to stay in touch. Like I say, in the Valley, I mean, I had a long career. I had like 5 or 6 different companies, and I met people at each one, and I tried to keep in touch. And that to me was the formula for being able to keep a long number of friends and relationships active, and I didn't feel badly when it came time to do the Birdathon, because they knew it was coming. There's several advance warnings, and then I give them a report, tell them what we did, and tell them it was fun, and then tell them what the chapter is doing, and they stay with you. So Birdathon is a great opportunity to stay in touch with people too. So it's been a wonderful experience. I do want to take a second to call out some of my sponsors. Tom Gray, Duggan, Gail Cheeseman, George and Lonnie Payton, Peter White, Gary Campanella, Carolyn Stroud and Steve McHenry, Diane Peter Hart, Don Price, Vivek Consotti, Linda Watkins, Charles Van Orden, Debbie and Steve Thompson. Debbie's past president, and they're up in Oregon now, and bless them, they're still with us and in spirit. And like David and Lita Beth Gray, they're still with us too. So it's keeping the relationships alive. And I won't go on any further, but I really want to thank everybody that's helped me. It's been a great joy. I really have loved it.
Well, it's obviously a joy to have you on the team. You've been on this team long before I was here, and but I remember you from the time I was on the board, and you were remarkable then and more remarkable now, in fact. So thank you so much for all the work. You've got a winning formula and sage advice spoken through vast experience, and something that all of our team leaders could learn from. So thank you once again. If I could give you a lifetime achievement, I would, but it's too early for that. You have a long life still ahead of you. So
Yeah, those are posthumous. Don't worry about that.
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So we want to save that for later.
Yeah.
Much later. But anyway, thank you, Bob, for all your work. And
you're totally welcome.
And we're going to close up in a moment, but I wanted to ask Carolyn and Barry, what you thought about this year, what you found amusing, what you learned from this year, just one or two quick thoughts, how to wrap up, how do you summarize this past year, difficult year?
Carolyn, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
I'll go first.
Now push you on the spot.
Well, a couple things I wanted to point out. One was one of the things that was new that I was really excited about was the audio birdathons, where we had the songbirds and patient listening, going out and getting birds. The thing that I kind of like the most that we've been doing differently the last couple of years is the birdathon stories. And the reason I love it so much is because it was a way we could all be together when we couldn't all be together. It was a way we could share our stories with each other and sort of go not virtually, but go on an adventure with other people without having to worry about infecting each other. So
excellent.
So we seem to have succeeded.
Yeah. And Carolyn, do you have something to reflect on this year?
Yeah, this year was a lot of things. One of the best things I found with this year's Birdathon especially was the way that we found people were reaching out to connect to each other. This was a really hard year for lots of people. And so being able to find that folks were reaching out and connecting. I think one of the best examples is actually Julie's backyard birding work. She's built an entire community of people who just pay attention to what's happening in their yards. And they're noticing what birds are nesting, what birds are visiting their feeders. And that got turned into the largest Birdathon team that we've seen. That brought in even more people. So just being able to see folks that this was their first Birdathon, and they still had a good time with it, even though we weren't able to actually take them out birding with us. And they still were able to connect with people, connect with other birders, to be able to look in and see, what did Board Not Board find? What are some of the sound recordings that Mike and the Song Sparrows got? I think that connection was really incredible to see. And I just want to thank all of you guys for taking part and contributing your pictures and your stories and your support. It means a lot. Just being able to see y'all just really helps deal with all of this. So thank you very much. And Matthew, it's your turn.
Yeah, I know. That's fantastic, Carolyn and Barry, both of you. Yeah, this was a tough year. The Birdathon Stories, for example, was a monumental effort. Thanks to Julie and Carolyn and everybody else who contributed content to the Birdathon Stories. Backyard birds and all around town, et cetera, just ways of engaging people that we haven't had before. It's interesting to note that a lot of people that did find that interesting and wanted to participate were not members. So we've got a real potential for new membership out there if we continue to do this kind of work. Even the classes have attracted non-members, which is marvelous. But when you do read the Avocet, you'll see my reflections on this past year, how it affected crickets and my birding. It affected it deeply. And there are there's two things that I wanted to learn. One, I wanted to learn how to avoid getting my eyeglasses all steamed up. I never actually figured that one out. And the other way is to communicate verbally through 2 layers of face mask, which I did pretty much manage to do. But one thing I really learned, and I think a lot of people will feel the same way, is it really helped me appreciate my immediate surroundings. Not only my neighborhood and the county, but also my home, the birds in my own backyard. And there's marvelous things to be seen a very short distance. And with a modest amount of green birding, one can find all kinds of fantastic new discoveries just outside your door. So that was something I really learned this year, and something I think a lot of people have. Mostly, I learned how close our community is. The support we had for the Birdathon this year was almost unmatched in the many years of Birdathons, and that is all due to you, everyone here who led a team, participated in a team, donated to a team. You're all fantastic, wonderful team players, and I'm so glad that I know you. So thank you so much, everybody. And that's really all I have to say about this past year. I'm looking forward to not having to wear a mask. We're looking toward opening up field trips mid-June.
We are making plans for opening up. Absolutely.
And the nature shop will be open June 15th, as well as open for pickup curbside until then. But stop by the ranch. We'll all be working there on a more regular basis. We've been working from home for the past year. I'm looking forward to going to the ranch, being with my lovely coworkers, and seeing people when they walk in, greeting them, showing them around the grounds. I can't wait. But thank you all for a marvelous evening, everything that you've done, everything you do, will do. And just wanted to thank Bill Walker again for your fantastic music. And I think maybe it's time for you to walk us out.
Almost. Matthew, one quick thing. Steve Pat pointed out that we neglected to mention who got the highest number of species and what was the best bird this year. So this gives me...
Yeah, there you go, the plaque.
This gives me an opportunity to show the plaque. So we have a page, and I put the link in the chat, but we'll also put it up on the home page. But let me just share my screen real quick here. This is our virtual plaque. Bob Hurt does a real plaque that is hanging in the office, which looks like this on the web page. But if you scroll down, you will see this year's winners. Most species was the rock wrens with 164. That's the distributed species team. But of course, the varied twitchers as the coherent team won this year with 160 species. We also have the wrong turns, got the most species for a 4-hour birdathon. And the best bird by committee choice was the common tern, which the hotspotters found this year. Also, this plaque is split into 2 parts because it was too big to fit in one part. And so if you scroll down to the bottom, the most species photographed was Shutterly Fabulous, which was Mike Armour and me going out for a 4-hour big day and just taking as many photographs as we possibly could. And a new category, most species audio, was the team of 1, patient listening, Mike Ambrose, got 71 audio recordings of species in one day, which was pretty amazing. So those are our top bird sighters or hearers or photographers.
Wonderful. Right. So that's online for everybody to look at. You can go down year after year after year, and you can look for.
Oh yeah, you can see how far back the rock wrens go.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very for Steve for reminding us about that. Anyway, Bill, can you send us out with some music? And everybody have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to stay online and listen to the music. You are welcome, of course, as well.
Yeah, I can. And apologize for interrupting you earlier.
No worries. It was beautiful.
So this next tune is, it started its life, I think, as a tango, and then jazz people adopted it, and I'm kind of taking it back to its tango origins. It's a little bit of an accordion part you're going to hear that I pre-recorded. And I'm going to claim that this is a birding song. I'm going to claim it's about the dawn chorus. The title is Softly as in a Morning Sunrise. Thank you very much.
Woohoo!
All right. Well,
Thank you, Bill.
thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Cheers. I've forgotten empty
See you-
those.
see you soon.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Baseball.